speak. Yeah, I will assume that you are not going to speak and I will just start. So, hi, myself Muthu. I'm actually one of the passed out of Panimala Engineering College. I passed out around 2019 and now I'm working as a machine learning engineer. So, you can ask me, then why do you even come to take a GRE course? Yeah, that is actually a valid question because I took GRE few years back and yeah, I actually took it 2 times. I applied for my higher studies since Corona had its own plans. I was not able to continue with my higher studies. Maybe I'll be doing it next year. So basically, I will give you a few tips on how to attend GRE, what exactly is GRE, and what you need to do, and what all you can expect there. So I was asked to take 2 sessions. In the first session, I'm trying to cover what exactly is GRE, what you can expect in this, and how should you prepare yourself, and and what are all the other things we can use GRE for. And in the next day, which is tomorrow, we'll see some few problem questions like how exactly the questions will be and how exactly should we tackle the answers. So moving forward, these are all the topics which you are going to see today. I know there's 15 topics, so basically there will be another 15 slides or something. We can complete it fast, so there's not going to be much impulsive contents which is not going to be understandable or something. So we can easily complete it. Just a second. To know that I'm audible and you can see my screen, someone can unmute and say if you can see my screen and am I audible? Anyone? Okay, fine. So moving further, what exactly is GRE? So GRE is known as Graduate Record Examination. So it is basically a standard test which most of the universities and technical institute use as an entrance criteria. So if you basically see, is that the only exam which is used as an entrance criteria? No, actually not. There are plenty other exams which has been used, and even nowadays GRE is not that mandatory to get into any university or school. So if that is not really necessary, then why really do I need to take GRE? So there are basically few things which we need to, which we really need to know before we are taking GRE. So few things. Basically, why is GRE used? So GRE is used as a basic selection criteria in any university. So say for example, you might have 8 CGPA or 9 CGPA, sometimes 7 CGPA. So that basically doesn't matter in the first step of evaluation in any university. So what they will do is they will check your GRE scores. If each university will have some criteria. They will have some 320 or 300 or something. If you satisfy the 300, then only they will come and see your, academic scores. So GRE is a basic criteria. So it is mostly used for eliminating the people outside of the consideration. So each university will get multiple applications. So the basic thing which they need to do is eliminate people who are not worth it. So they will use GRE and IELTS as an elimination criteria to take people outside. Is GRE only used for higher studies? Actually, not. Most of the companies in US, UK, and Canada, which are based on math or science, they request the candidates to take up GRE so that they can make sure that they are really strong in aptitude. So GRE is useful in that way too. And to move forward, why should someone take GRE? So basically, there are multiple reasons why someone should take GRE. So as we came to know in the previous slide, which is for higher studies, and another one which is for job placement in other countries. Those two are not the only applications. We can use it for many other things. We can make ourselves sure that we are strong in verbal, quantitative, and critical reasoning. So GRE is a place where it actually tries to calculate our reasoning, quantitative and critical thinking, and analytical skills. So how they are going to use these four to calculate? So basically, reasoning and quantitative belongs to math, and critical thinking, like basically everything comes in math, English. So these two are the main topics which are going to cover in GRE, like in the examination, if I'm not wrong. So quantitative reasoning is again math. Reasoning and analytical writing will come in English and writing. Critical thinking actually comes in all the two. We'll come to know how exactly it's going to happen. So why exactly should we take GRE and what is the use of it? So as we saw in the previous slide, yeah, because the slides got a little repeated, but yes, still it is same. Why we should take GRE and what is the use of it? So, say for example, you are getting out of your college. We study under Anna University, and there are a few other colleges which come under SRM or the Delhi University or something like that. So, the universities in other countries need some basic criteria to make sure that the students are selected of same standards. So what they try to do is they used to keep some common exit exams in the previous years. Say for example, to get into IITs or NIT, what we will do, we used to write JEs and NEETs and other things, right? So similarly, to get into the foreign university, we need to write GRE. So basically, what happens is not only the people from India, other country people are also used to write GRE to get into the US universities or the Canadian universities, and they will take up the GRE test. And what happens is everyone submit the GRE test via the ETS. So ETS is the center which hosts GRE exams, and via that we used to contact. I mean, via that we will submit the GRE scores, and the universities what they do is they will keep it as a common comparison. I mean, common standard among all the countries and the states, all the countries and the nations, and they will select the people according to it. So, who must take GRE? So many people can take GRE. So basically, the first candidate who thinks of GRE is students who are going to pursue MS or for the same reason PhDs or MBA, something like that. So mostly it is MS candidates who wants to apply in Canada or US because these two are the only countries which demand GRE the most. Yeah, other countries do ask for GRE, but not like Canada or US. Yeah, so you need if you are trying to go into MS, then you will take GRE, and for MBA, you usually used to take GMAT, but GMAT is comparatively difficult. So to avoid that, what people used to do is they will take GRE and bypass GMAT. They will take GRE and IELTS, and they will simply bypass the GMAT and get into colleges, which is actually easy step. Actually, GRE is difficult. GRE is difficult, but compared to GMAT, GRE is kind of okay. So, and another one reason people why they used to take GRE is GRE makes people's communication skill really strong. Even if there is no listening or speaking test, it really makes the communication strong because the vocabularies used in GRE are really, like, say, for example, difficult because as we Indians, we use only few vocabularies in English, including me, and even I don't use some complex vocabularies because I don't know, to be frank. So while studying for GRE, we will learn many new words and we will start using them in the sentence. So it will make our vocabulary rich and English sounds stylish, which my English is not. Uh, so that is one of the reason. And yeah, so sometimes what happens is in other countries, not particularly India, in other countries, what happens is while someone is trying to join an office as a fresher, they will not keep. In some companies, there will not be an aptitude exam. So what they used to do is they used to take GRE and showcase their verbal and quantitative skills. That is actually a very bad idea in India because I will say why. Say for example, if you are taking a GRE exam and going and sitting for a placement, what happens is if you put GRE scores in a placement, what they will think is, yeah, you are trying to go out of the country and study somewhere else, then why should I offer you a job? So basically, doing that, I mean, like, taking GRE just to improve your skills in India is bad. If you are going to do that, yeah, that's fine, but don't put that in your resume. That will make a bad impression on you while you are attending the placement. So keep that in mind. So the other uses of GRE. Basically, we know, right, CAT, which is really famous in India. People used to write CAT exams to get into the top management institutes. So preparing for GRE can actually make you prepare for CAT really well. So CAT exam is basically a bit more difficult than GRE, but the critical thinking part in CAT is not that important when compared to GRE. So if you're really able to do GRE well, then you can really perform great in CAT. Just a second. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so the next one is crack college placements basic round. So as we all know that the basic round of the placements is aptitude and English, and sometimes they will ask to write essays, which I used to write in college. So basically, it will help you to crack the basic placements rounds, and it will make your placement rounds like a baby. Like it will be really easy. You can easily crack it, and it will really uplift your resume. If like soon after the college, if you are trying to go out of the country and apply to some other job in foreign countries like US or UK or Canada, if you put your GRE scores in that, and it will really uplift your resume when compared to the other freshers. So it will be really great. And as I already mentioned, the critical thinking part, it will really get improved. So yeah, now we'll get into the core of GRE, like what exactly does GRE contains. Um, Again, so it has three major sections, which is first one is analytical writing, next one is verbal reasoning, and third one is quantitative reasoning. So analytical writing is just a two essay part where you will be asked to write two essays, and the verbal reasoning is basic English part where there will be fill in the blanks or comprehension, some related questions. And the third part is quantitative reasoning. So quantitative reasoning is basic math, which we studied in 10th standard. So basically GRE is nothing more than 10th standard portion, and you can be assured of it. There will be no complicated mathematics like say for example integration or differential equation. Those won't be there. So it will be a basic mathematics which is studied in 10th standard, nothing more than that. So yeah, we'll get into the exact core part. So your score will be based out of three sections, which we saw in the last slide, and how exactly will we be scored and how many questions will be there. So in the first section, which is analytical writing, there will be two essays, and you will be given 30 minutes each essay. So, can you switch between essays? No, you can't. If you start the first essay, you need to complete it within the half an hour and then go to the next essay. And the next part is verbal reasoning. Verbal reasoning will have two sections, and each section will contain 20 questions. And for each section, you will get 30 minutes. And for quantitative reasoning, again, you will have two sections. Each section will contain 20 questions. And yeah, my slide is actually wrong. You will get 35 minutes for each section. So in addition, you will have an unscored section. I will tell more about the unscored section in the coming part. So there will be one unscored section in which it can be either verbal or quantitative reasoning. You will get 20 minutes. If it's math round, it's going to be 35 minutes. And if it's going to be English, it's going to be 30 minutes. So, but that section will not be considered for scoring. That is basically used for research purposes. We'll speak about that in the further coming slides. So exactly, how is scoring happening? In GRE, each section scores will be from 130 to 170. So for quantitative, the scores will start from 130 and go up till 170. For verbal, it will start from 130 and go up till 170. And for analytical writing, it will start from 0 to 6. In analytical writing, the scores will increase by 0.5. But there is no particular scale in quantitative reasoning or the verbal reasoning. It can increase by 0.5 or 0.37 or at times 1 or sometimes 1.5. So it depends on the question and the difficulty level of the question. I will be explaining more about that in the next upcoming slides. So, what is basically an average score someone should get to be even considered? You should at least get an 151 in quantitative reasoning, and in verbal reasoning 153, and in analytical writing 4.0. So these scores are just a predicted scores. If you are getting the scores, you are well and good to apply for all the universities, but it's up to the university to select you or move forward without your application. So So I was saying between the sections, right? So initially, how exactly the GRE exam start? Initially, when you start taking the GRE exam via online, the first section will be analytical writing. You will not be able to skip it. You will get the first section and the first question. The first question will be for half an hour. You need to write that essay, read the question, write that essay, and then go to the next essay after 30 minutes. Yeah, if you did complete within 20 or 25 minutes, then you can skip the 5 minutes time and go to the next essay. So after you complete the two essays, what happens is there is going to be five other sections. So two is math, two is verbal, and one is the temporary section, which can be either maths or either quantitative or either verbal. So what happens is, say for example, if the first section is going to be maths, the next section will be English. The third section will be math, English, math. We never will come to know which is the dummy section. So if you get three quantitative sections, one is dummy section and other two is the real one, which is going to be used for score. In other case, if you get three verbal sections, one is going to be the dummy section and other two will be taken for score. We will never come to know which section was the dummy section, and we will not even be able to be guessing which one is the dummy section. It is a bit difficult and tricky. So, and again, I was saying about the marks, right? So initially, some sections will be in some sections the mark will increase as 0.3 or 0.4, and sometimes it will increase as 1 or 1.5. So what happens is, say for example, you are taking your first quantitative section. In the first quantitative section, if your questions are really difficult and you did not perform well, you will assume that your questions are really difficult, all the 20 questions are really difficult, and you did not perform well. Then what happens is the next quantitative section will be really easy. The questions will be switched according to how you wrote the previous section. So the first section is fixed and the second section is dynamically given to you. So if the first section is really easy and you performed really well, the next section is going to be really difficult. If the first section is difficult and you performed really well, and the next section is going to be even more difficult. So this is how the questions are going to be designed, be it quantitative or verbal. So this is how the section will be automatically switched. And for the marking, say for example, if a question is really easy, like 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 question. If the question is of that kind, it's going to have really less weightage. Say for example, it will have only 0.01 marks. If there is another one question which seems to be simple, but it might be difficult, there might be some twist in the question, which will come to later. If that kind of question, what happens is you will get more than 1 mark. So this is how the mark varies between each section. And the dummy section. To speak more about the dummy section, what happens is you will get either verbal or quantitative. It is not going to add up to your mark. So what happens is exactly you will write the question. So the GRE officials, they will come to know if the question is really easy or difficult or moderate, and they will use it in the further examinations. It is just for the reference. So we will be the testing rats. We are just like a testing rats in that section. So they will use the scores and use it in the some other section. So this is how exactly the GRE sections work. So now we'll go into each section separately and see what exactly is happening inside each section. So we'll look a little deep into each section. Verbal reasoning. So I said in each verbal reasoning section, we'll have 20 questions, right? So the 20 questions is divided into 3 parts. The first part is text completion questions, which has 6 questions, and then sentence equivalence question, which has 4, and the reading comprehension has 10 questions. So to start with the text completion questions. So text completion questions are basically fill in the blanks. Okay, so what happens is it can be a very basic fill in the blanks where you need to put a verb or some other pronoun inside the sentence. It is not going to be complex, but you need to know a lot of words in English. Your vocabulary should be really strong to attend that section. So what happens here is the question in the text completion can be of 3 types. Either the question have single blank or 2 blanks or 3 blanks. It depends on the question. Basically, the 3 blanks question are going to be really easy. The 2 blank questions are going to be moderate, and the single blank questions are really going to be difficult. But the marking for the 3 questions are going to be same. It's going to be 1 or depending on the difficulty level of the question. So the sentence equivalence question. What happens is, again, this is like a fill in the blanks. But in the previous question, what happens is you will choose only a single word. But here in this, you will be given 6 to 7 options, and you will be asked to select 2 words to put inside a particular blank. So you should basically find the synonyms in that 7. In that 7 options. So if you ask me, is this difficult or easy? This is the most difficult verbal question. It's going to be really difficult that we don't know meaning of most of the words. Even a native English speaker may not know the meaning of the words. It's going to be that difficult. So you should not only be strong in the vocabulary, you should really know when and where to use those words. Then only you can find those 2 words. So finding a single word is going to be easy, but finding 2 words is really going to be difficult. And coming to the next section, which is the reading comprehension. So basically in our schools and colleges, what we used to do is we will have a very big paragraph, like 4 to 5 paragraph, and we'll be asked to answering it. And what happens is we can find a sentence which matches the exact answer here. So that is not the case in GRE. What happens is the paragraph is going to be just a single paragraph. It may be between 50 to 150 words, just 7 to 8 lines. It's going to be really small, but it's going to be difficult. We will not have direct answers, so it's going to be difficult to find out the answers. And even in this, what happens is you will be given multiple choice questions and fill in the blanks. So you should be careful. You should read. You should somewhat spend around 3 to 4 minutes on 3 minutes on single comprehension and complete all the questions. You will have about 2 to 3 questions depending on the length of the passage. So we'll just take a small pause here And do you people have any doubts till now? Yeah, I can see like few people who more have joined. So do you people have any doubts, or as I can see many joined later, do you want me to repeat some of the steps which I started in the beginning? I'm not sure why you people are not unmuting, but yeah, even if I was there in your side, I would have not unmuted. It's okay to unmute and speak. Really, guys, no one is going to speak. Nice. Yeah, then I guess, yeah, I'll just proceed with the sections and I'll complete the things. So, just a second. So, the quantitative reasoning, which is one of my favorite parts because I scored well in this part, and I did not score well in the verbal part because this is comparatively easy when to verbal. You can be well assured that the quantitative reasoning is going to be easy when compared to verbal, but in general, it's going to be difficult. So, in quantitative reasoning, there will be two types of questions. The first type of question is comparison question. So the comparison question is like A equal to B kind of questions only. So say for example, what exactly happens there is you will be given two trigonometrical figures, or say two geometrical figures. Sorry, I used the wrong term. You will be given two geometrical figure, or you will be asked to do a data interpretation. You will be asked to find a mean or median, something like that. So say for example, what they will do is they will give two geometrical figures, and what they will do is they will say area. Say for example, we will consider two spheres, I mean two circles, circle A and circle B. The two circles again inside has another one circle. So they will generally give the diagram and make us an assumption that the size of the circles are same, or the size is twice or thrice the size. And they will give the question like find the area of the circle, find the area of both the circles, and the options will be like area of circle A is equal to area of circle B, greater than equal to area of circle B, less than equal to, or not equal to. There will be some kinds of options like this, and you should choose between them. The correct answer can be only a single answer, so you need to choose between them. And the next one is problem solving questions. So problem solving questions are basically the aptitude question which we used to get in the placements, or you should have attended placement training earlier. So you should have. Just just a second. So you people are from which year? Like, are you people from second year, third year? No, third year. Yeah. Okay, that's great. So you people should have got placement trainings by now, right? Or am I wrong? So whatever it is. So if you have got placement training, then that is great. So the problem solving question are exactly like the question which you get in the placement trainings. It will be a basic aptitude, which is only related to geometry or algebra or basic multiplication and addition, and sometimes time and distance. So the questions will be based only out of these five topics, and there is not going to be any other topics which is going to be difficult or something. And yeah, sometimes trigonometry. Yeah, there are rarely questions asked from trigonometry, and which is going to be difficult. You should be okay with understanding the concepts of trigonometry. So moving forward, what exactly is a problem solving question? So problem solving question can be of three types. One is the multiple choice, and another one is numeric entry and data interpretation. So we'll start with multiple choice. Again, the multiple choice is divided into two types. So the first type is there is going to be only one answer correct. So out of the four or five options, you will be asked to select just a single option. And there is going to be another type that is multiple choice, but you need to select what are all the other answers which is correct. They might ask like what are the wrong answers sometimes like that. So you need to select, you need to leave out the correct answers and you need to select the wrong answers. It can be like that. So the next type is numeric entry. Numeric entry is going to, I mean, they will give you a blank and a question, and you need to write out the right answer, which should be accurate to even decimal points. You will specify how many decimal points it should be accurate. The numerical entry questions sometimes will be easy and sometimes it will be really hard. It depends on your luck and how you performed your first round. So I said you're right. If you're going to perform your first round really well, the second round is going to be really difficult. If you perform your first round really bad, the second round is going to be really easy. So yeah, it depends on how exactly your question. I mean, how exact questions you get. and the data interpretation questions. So those are really basic mathematical questions. So say for example, they will give you some data interpretation like statistics, graphs, something like that, and they will ask you to find some mean, median, or the variance, or what they will ask you to point out some. They will give you the mean and they will give you the variance and ask you to find where exactly is this point, something like that. So yeah, it's going to be really easy, and yeah, you can get used to it easily. So this section is going to have 35 minutes, and this 35 minutes is actually less because I will say why. For English, it doesn't matter. There are going to be options. Even if we don't know the answer, we will make sure that we really don't know, and then we can move on to the next question. But in math, the questions are going to be really simple. For sure, we will know the answer, but we will be confused if that is the right answer or not. So you should approximately spend not more than a minute in a question. You should spend 1 minute to a question, complete it, and then go to the next question. If you're not able to complete it within a minute, just go to the next question. Later, we can come back to the question. Because if you're stuck in some question, it's going to take, of course, more than 2 minutes. Since we have 35 minutes, if we complete all the questions and we still have 5 questions or 6 questions left out, we still have 15 minutes. In that 15 minutes, we can easily complete because the data interpretation questions are going to take a hell lot of time when compared to the other two questions. Because data interpretation questions are really easy, we'll be concentrating more on that, so it's going to be really time consuming. So to move it, we'll go to the analytical writing part, and this is the part where most of the people will ignore, including me. I was really not interested to take this part, but later when I started applying to universities, I came to know that this is the most important part. Scoring in the other two sections are really easy when compared to this. The scale will be from 0 to 6, and the points will increase by 0.5. Taking a 4 in this is a decent score. It's not a great score. Taking 4 in this is a decent score, but even for that 4, you need to do a really great work. There should be no spelling mistakes. Your grammar should be excellent, and the way you analyze the question is really, really important. So, in analytical writing, there are exactly two parts. So, one is analyzing the issue, and another one is analyzing the arguments. So, initially, when you sit for the exam in front of the computer, the first thing which comes is analyzing the issue. So, they will give you some issue which was displayed in a article or in some newspaper, and they will ask you to say what do you think about it and justify it, justify your arguments. Okay, but you should not put your own thoughts. Yeah, here is the point. You should not put your own thoughts on a whole. You should not come up with new theories and say it back to them. You should analyze it. You should carefully analyze that issue and write about the issue, what you understand about the issue, why that issue has happened. If they have specified some information that you can assume and you can write, then only you can write. Otherwise, you should just analyze the issue and tell it to them. So if you say, if you just read the sentence, for the analyze and issue task, you will read an opinion on topics of general interest and give an instruction on how to respond to that issue at hand. So if you see it clearly, you cannot write whatever you want. You should understand the question, you should understand the issue, and make sure that you are just writing things which they are asking and nothing more than that. So there will be a word limit. It depends. So basically, the word limit might be from 500, something around 500. I'm not sure. I actually forgot. I didn't check it before coming to the meeting. So it is something around 500, I guess. Maybe I can confirm it tomorrow to you. Yeah. So the next type is analyzing an argument. So analyzing an argument is just a task. You need to consider an argument according to the instruction given in the prompt. So the previous task was an issue, and this task is an argument. So argument is someone or something stating that this is happening here. So it's actually not an issue. Apart from, it's like a, how to say. So I can initiate an argument saying that GRE is better than GMAT. So it is something like this. So you will get some topic like this where some argument has been initiated, and you will be asked to analyze that argument. Why exactly that argument came in the first place, or what exactly is that argument trying to justify, and what exactly that argument meant, and what people got out of it. So these are the things which you should clearly analyze and write out. So moving forward, before we come to this part, I would like to cover a few more sections in the before. So yeah, here in verbal reasoning, I didn't speak about the timing, right? So I'll just complete about the timing in the verbal reasoning. So in verbal reasoning, the comprehension questions are most time consuming. Because while seeing the other two questions, which is text completion and sentence equivalence, we will come to know if we really know the answer or not, and we can move to the next question. As again, like data interpretation, comprehension is something which we really got used to since our childhood. Say, for example, third or fourth standard. Since then, we have comprehension, and we used to write a lot of exams which really had comprehension. Say it be second language or English or whatever it is. So here, what happens is we'll spend a lot more time in comprehension. Even for a very small passage which has just 50 words, what we will do is we will read it again, and again, which will totally not make any sense. Uh, what we need to do is each comprehension will have 3 to 4 questions. So we should just concentrate on a question on the answers which we know, and we should start moving forward. And one important thing which I forgot to say is most of the competitive exams has negative marking, right? So GRE doesn't have a negative marking. So if you don't know the answer, just don't hesitate. Just select a random answer and go to the next one. But can you do it? Actually, you should not. I will say why. So I was saying, right, GRE is kind of credit-based exam. Like they usually don't say it, but yeah, it is kind of credit-based exam. So if you are going to mess up with some section, the next section is going to be dependent on it, and your marking is also be going to be dependent on it. So say, for example, you did not do your first section well. In a quantitative in a verbal section, if there's 20 questions and you did not even write give correct answer for a single section, the next section is going to be really easy. Even if you answer all the 20 questions correct, you will be getting only 5 or 6 marks and not the 20 marks, because it really depends on some credits. So better not to answer the question which you don't know. If you are a little skeptical, yeah, then you can think about answering. But if you are sure that you don't know the answer, just skip it and go to the next question. So this is how exactly it happens. And okay, so these are the major questions one used to get before starting the preparation or before getting to know what GRE is. How difficult is GRE? It is, I mean, we cannot give a straightforward answer. So initially, for people who are strong in critical thinking or analyzing a question, GRE is going to be okay. I won't say it's easy. It's going to be okay. So for people who are little weak in aptitude or little weak in analyzing the question or doesn't have a great knowledge and vocabulary, it's going to be little difficult. So it's not like impossible, but it's going to be little difficult. With a long time of practice, yeah, we can crack the exam. So to put it in simple words, for people who knows aptitude, it's going to be easy. For people who are not familiar with aptitude on a large scale, it's going to be little difficult. So how exactly should I prepare for GRE? So GRE is not a fun kind of exams or the placement exams for which we need to prepare only for 2 days or 3 days and crack it easily. So it is highly impossible. GRE is going to be difficult. What you need to do is you need to solely spend, solely spend spend not some time, spend a lot of time for it. Say for example, an ideal time for preparing for GRE is 3 months. 3 months full of preparation. So 3 hours a day. So that's what an ideal time, which is preferred by most of the people. You should spend at least 3 full months and prepare at least 2 to 3 hours a day. So if you don't have that much of time, what you can do is you can start preparing 3 to 4, 5 to 6 months before, and you can spend 3 to 4 hours on each Saturdays and Sundays and prepare. But you should make sure that you at least go through the topics on the weekdays. You need not work out the problems. You just need to go through the topics and make sure that you understood the topic and you're clear about the topic. So you may ask me that I said that it's just going to be 10 standard questions, and why is it that difficult? Because the questions are going to be from 10th standard, but the wordings are not going to be from 10th standard, or it won't be like nothing which we have ever seen. It's going to be different and difficult. They will play with the words. They will ask something, and we will never know what they exactly are asking. So we should read the questions really carefully. So that's what is going to make GRE really difficult. So the 6 months or 5 months or 3 or 2 months of practice is for analyzing the questions. You are not going to learn anything new except for the vocabulary. This 2 months of preparing time is just for you to understand what exactly the questions are about and how exactly are they playing with the words. So the thing is, what is a good GRE score? Okay, this is actually a tricky question. I will say right because not all the GRE exams are conducted on a single day in a year, like CAT or MAT. So if the exams are conducted on a single day, we can say that in this batch, 350 is a very good score, or sorry, 300 is a very good score, 200 is a very good score, something like that. But in this case, GRE will be happening every now and then. In every month, it will happen like 2 to 4 times. That too for separate batches. So what here happens here is it's going to be really difficult. So it solely depends on a percentile. What happens is you will be given 2 marks. So one is the marking, exact marking, which is for 340 and 6.0, and another one is percentile. So out of the people who wrote that day with that particular questions, you will be ranked between 1 to 100. If your percentile is above 75%, it is a good score. Actually, it is really a great score. Um, so in terms of percentage, you should be above 75 percentage for to get into any great universities. Like I mean, top 10, I mean top 50 universities, and say for example, to get into any top 50 US universities, specifically US universities, you should have GRE score more than 320. Specifically to get into any Canadian universities as a non-experienced person, I mean, as a college graduate, it is going to be really difficult because Canadian universities are biased towards IITs and NITs. So you should have above 330 score. Their eligibility criteria in their websites will be just between 300 or 315. But for sure, you should have about 330 to get into any Canadian universities and 320 for any US universities. The universities which I'm talking about are only the top 50 universities, and I'm not talking about the below universities. To get into the other universities, you just need to have anything above 310. Actually, 300 is also enough, but 300 is not a great score. So you should have about 310. 310 is going to be a pretty decent score. So make sure that if you're going to write, you have about 310. Possibly, if you need to get into some top 50 universities, then yeah, 300 and 330 and plus. So, who all accepts GRE? Everyone in US accepts GRE. Everyone in Canada, every universities in Canada accepts GRE. Every university in UK accepts GRE. All the university accepts GRE. But the actual question is GRE mandatory in those universities? The answer is mostly yes and mostly no. We will tackle this via country by country. So in Canada, except for few universities, GRE is not a requirement. But if you're going to apply without GRE, you are not getting an admission there because you don't have any work experience. You are freshers. So they need some criteria to analyze you. So GRE is the analyzing criteria. In Canada, so you require GRE as a fresher. In US, GRE is mandatory. As we all know, GRE is basic requirement in US in most of the universities. But I'm not sure. This year, GRE was not mandatory in most of the universities, and I'm little not sure about what exactly is the reason. Maybe COVID is the reason. It might not be same in the next upcoming years. So again, GRE is going to be mandatory. There are some great schools in US which do not ask for GRE. Even if you get admission, while going to visa process, they will ask why you did not take GRE, and your visas might get rejected. So if you're going to US universities, it is mandatory that you should take or you must take GREs, and it's up to you to produce the scores to university or not to produce the scores to university. So yeah, to conclude, GRE is mandatory in Canada and US. Coming to UK, Australia, or any other countries, no, GRE is not required. Absolutely not required. If you are thinking about any other countries, please don't think about GRE and waste your time or money because GRE is an expensive exam. It's going to cost you about 12,500 if I'm not wrong, or maybe it might be increased because the US dollars got recently increased, right? So I'm not sure. It might have been increased, 13,000 or something. So if you're considering any other countries, please do not take GRE. If it's going to be Canada, Singapore, or US, take GRE and make sure you get some really great marks and get into the top 50 universities and nothing below that. So What else do I need along GRE? So we saw what exactly is GRE and how exactly is the scoring is done and who accepts GRE, who do not accept GRE. So what along GRE do I need? As I said, GRE, I mean, you need IELTS or TOEFL or any other English exam as a matter of fact to get into any countries, to get into any country's universities. But you might ask me, GRE has an English section. Why isn't that enough? That is absolutely not enough. Because the GRE English section is just writing and reading. It does not have speaking or listening. That is a major weak point. So as I said, GRE's verbal is going to be really, really, really difficult. But the English exams are really going to be simple. Be it TOEFL or IELTS, it's going to be damn simple. You absolutely do not need any preparation. You just need to know the format, go there and take the exam and come back. So IELTS or TOEFL, it's going to be really easy. But for GRE English, you need a lot of preparation. Actually, that's the slide which I have been prepared today. So I thought I'll go with exactly how the math and the English problems and the essays will be tomorrow. So what I exactly have planned for tomorrow is I will take some questions, about 10 math questions and 10 English questions, and give it to you people and solve it along with you. Um, yeah. So after seeing this session, do you have any doubts for now about the basics of GRE? Anyone? Anyone at all? Yeah, you need not call me sir, but yeah, you can throw your question. Oh, okay, wait. Yeah, I did not see this now. Okay, so someone is from fourth year and now in final year. So what about Germany? Germany needs GRE or doesn't need GRE? So yeah, Germany actually needs GRE. Few universities, not all the universities, but there are few top universities which requires GRE. But more than GRE, Germany requires German language exam. So the first thing you need to worry about is German language exams or not, and not the GRE. So first start studying for German language exam, which is going to take more than 6 months. So if you are from third year or fourth year, if you are, it's going to be third year, then yeah, it's really great. Start it now itself. If you're fourth year, it's a bit late, but start preparing it now. But yeah, GRE is required for German universities. Is there any other question? You can type it in chat or ask. Already in process, yeah, that's really great. If you're already in process, yeah, that's great. You can carry on with the. Oh, sir, can you tell us what all the math topics should be practice? Yeah, exactly. Please stop calling me sir because I'm just a year elder than you. Uh, yeah, so the math topics. So as I really said, I mean, as I said before, the topics are going to be distance, time, data interpretation, statistics, algebra, and trigonometry. So these are the topics which you need to prepare. So if I'm not wrong, I do have another one session tomorrow. In that session, what we will do is we'll try to solve two types of each problems. Like sorry, I mean two problems in each type. I will make sure that I will get one easy question and another one difficult question, and we'll try to make it an interactive session. Like I know that it's not going to be more interactive because even I have been a student and I've attended classes like this or sessions like this where I was really not interactive. So at least what we can do is I will explain you how exactly we should solve the questions and how exactly we should interpret the questions. More than solving, how exactly we should interpret the questions. I guess that must be helpful for you people. Is there anything else I can help you out today? Yeah. So any GRE books. So what I can do is while we are coming, I did not take the links today. In tomorrow's PPT, what I will do is I will just give you a link of few books which were really useful for me to complete take the GRE exams. What I will do is I will give you few links of the GRE books so that you can start preparing for that. It's uh, those will be basic questions. But if you have plans of registering for GRE, what happens is they will provide you with two set of books, two big books. It will have a hell lot of questions, and you can go through it easily. But yeah, I will give you a soft copy link, which is going to be really useful for you. I will do that tomorrow because I do not have the links now. So if you actually have any doubts regarding this, you can actually know this email address, and you can ping me, or you can message me in LinkedIn. My name is just Muthu Kumaravil. You can message me in LinkedIn, and I can send you the links there also. For a reference, I will share these slides with Karthikeyan sir so that he can forward it to you, and it might be helpful for you. Um, yeah. Any other question? So shall I assume that we are done for the day? I would like to. Okay, what exactly is it, sir? I would like to. Okay, yeah, you can ask a question. Yeah, you can. If you want, you can unmute and talk. Mm, okay, so you want to take weapon engineering as an MS? Any idea? So I'm really sorry to say this, but I have no idea about weapon engineering. So the field which I researched about is mechatronics, mechanical, CSE, triple E, and at times artificial intelligence. So these were the topics which I really saw into. I did not see into weapon engineering. Maybe I will just go through it, and I'll get back to you tomorrow. If I'm not wrong, you are looking for some German universities, right? Yeah, I will look into it, and I'll get back because I really don't have any idea about weapon engineering. So could I help anyone else with any other doubt? So yeah, assuming that no one has any other doubts, Karthikeyan sir, I guess it is done for the day. Maybe can you share your LinkedIn profile? Yeah, just give me a second. I will give you the profile link here. So this is my LinkedIn profile. If you go here, you can just find me. You can add me as a connect, and yeah, I can help you out in any other things.